Welcome back to the Next Level Show. We are excited to do another fun-filled episode with you guys. It's been another week. It's been weird recording less frequently. I'll tell you that much, but excited to. So basically, this will be a episode that'll be going live on YouTube instantly. This will be a legitimate live stream. So you guys are watching this or catch it for any reason, just let us know. Give us a thumbs up on the video, and you guys can actually chat with us, so we'll be able to see anything, and we can improvise the show. If you guys have any questions at the end, we can answer that for you guys. Anyways, boys, how you guys doing? It's been a crazy
What's
Friday.
happening? Just a bit.
Mike?
Why is it a crazy Friday? What's going on? You gotta talk about something?
It's just a lot to do in a short amount of time, but it's not bad. It's just that the thing about being a personal trainer that people don't know is that even though you have a set schedule for the most part, you run into moments where not everything will go according to plan, as far as like maybe the client schedule, the days that they're coming in, and you got to adjust. So then you got to compromise. I had to move a couple appointments that I had later just to get them done and maximize that time, because I had these weird gaps in there and I'd like to kind of fill them up. Worked out early today, knocked that out. And now I'm with you guys, ready to talk about the most scary C word that ever existed.
Crustacean.
There you go. Crustacean. The end.
Close.
Credits.
Yes. I actually did something for the first time today. So at Crunch we have I'm pretty sure it's like a brand sponsorship type thing kind of deal where we get like massage guns from a company called Nimble. And we're supposed to talk about it in the kickoff. And I've never actually used one on one of my clients. Usually, I mean, I'm old school, so it's like stretching and foam rolling. And I decided to give it a shot on one of my older dudes. His name's Dwayne. He's really into golf, and I was talking to one of the other trainers about stretching out muscles along like the spiral line, which would be really big with like the whole pivoting shoulders and hips and everything. So I actually used the massage gun on his IT band, where I basically had him lay on his back and bring his leg up and then over across his body, and then reach with the opposite arm the other way to create like a twist. And then I basically just stood where he could basically like rest his leg kind of against like my hip and like hit his IT band. And then every once in a while I'd step a little bit higher, raising his leg up a little bit closer to like his shoulder. And I was actually surprised at how well that worked, because by the end of it, I mean, his leg was like stiff as a board. And by the end of it, I could have just moved it all over the place. It was loosey goose. I was like, damn, this thing actually is pretty legit. And I don't have to like teach him where the IT band is or tell him to do it. I just fucking lay there, give me your leg, boom, done. Now it's loose. Let's go do some shit. So I'm gonna start messing around with that thing some more, because
You're gonna use it on yourself?
well, I may get somebody to do it for me, because I got some tight spots in my back that I wouldn't be able to reach, which I normally just foam roll for, but I've never actually used that before. It always just kind of seemed kind of like gimmicky, I guess. But I was talking to one of the other trainers, and he was like, you don't really even need to understand like what to do. You just need like an understanding of anatomy and how to stretch certain muscles and put them in certain like disadvantageous positions, and then hammer the shit out of them basically. And I was like, okay, well, I could do that. But yeah, it worked out pretty cool. I was like, dang, I didn't expect this to happen, but lo and behold.
Not a sponsor.
Not to plug the company or anything like that. I just thought it was fucking cool. It's just another thing that I can do to kind of help, I guess.
I used it once. Maybe I didn't put myself in, like you said, disadvantageous positions, but I mean, I thought it was fine, but nothing crazy, nothing to go home and go buy one for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're giving them for free. I mean, I don't know if they're free, but it's free to me. It's free to use. He's paying however much a month, so I mean, Might as well.
Well, it's a
And
good benefit, a good
it'll
tool
help
to
us.
have in, perhaps. I mean, for those that get good use out of it, then why the hell not?
Yeah, absolutely. What was I just about to say? I don't remember.
Not sure.
I have no idea.
I'm like probably close to 500 milligrams of caffeine right now. It's not
So
even 1 p.m.
slow day for you.
You need a little more, man.
Yeah, I'd
It
say you
was-
need to really start pushing it. I mean, switch
Yeah, I know.
switch out of decaf. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, right.
Stop
No,
sipping
Oliver's
the green tea.
Oliver's teething again, so sleep is a commodity.
Gabe, anything else new with you going on? Anything exciting listeners need to know?
Busy ass month for us. I mean, we got a bunch of things. I mean, this weekend we have workshops both on Saturday and Sunday. Just a lot of busy stuff happening. Yesterday, like Jennifer, she had an event at school where they did a hot chocolate for, I think, like for kids who completed a certain kind of something. So it was a lot. It was after hours too. It was from, I think, started at 4 o'clock to about 6 or so. So it was
Mhm.
just some event that they had at the school. So it was just another late night for there, and just lots of Christmassy things happening.
Okay. That sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Just a bit.
dude. Speaking of Christmas, we actually have a Christmas tree up with ornaments and lights, and it actually is the first time I've ever had a Christmas tree in my house. That's not my parents' house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool and weird, but more cool than weird.
It's nice.
Me and my brother left the old tree at our old apartment when we moved, just because it was in the garage, and it got like, I think my brother saw something inside the box, and he just like decided just to leave it there for the
Okay.
whoever moved there to find.
Yep, that's somebody else's problem now.
Yeah, we didn't want to bring it. So personally, like people are asking me if I'm gonna put up a tree, if I'm gonna get into the spirit, and honestly, it's like I don't care. Like it's like lame as that sounds, I really don't. I'm here to eat, sleep, record podcast, work,
Yeah.
leave other extracurricular activities out of the comments. But the only thing exciting that I'm looking forward to is actually not even for Christmas. I bought it for myself anyways, but the first week of January, once I get back from my trips, I have a week that I'll be out. I got a new bed. Mike knows about it because I texted him when it happened. Gabe, I don't text you anything because you don't answer me. But I texted Mike.
Who's
let
this?
him
I don't have
know.
you saved.
Yeah, dude. Like you're like, who's this? Every time I text him, I always like never understood why. But no, I ended up buying a Sleep Number bed. Recommendations from Mike. So I texted him because I wanted to make sure that he got the email for credits or rewards. Since he's a customer there, they were able to find him up. And yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I can't wait to get this bed. It's been over 15 years that I haven't switched the mattress. I mean, I've had different beds, but this mattress that I have has history, man. So it's already long overdue, and it's been over half my life that I've had this mattress around. So it's time.
So not to be too graphic, but I
Why
do
not? Dude? We're
have
on
to
the next
tell
level
you.
show.
Well, I do have to tell you, there's not as much bounce in that mattress in like a Sleep Number because it's technically a really expensive air mattress. So air is naturally not bouncy like a spring.
Yeah.
So just be
Put
prepared.
a little
for
more
that.
effort. That's what you're saying?
Little less cushion for the pushing.
I ended up getting
Yeah.
the C5. I don't know if that helps.
I don't know what that means.
Basically, it's like the third, like it's not the super thin ones, but it's like literally one of the more middle ones. It literally looks like you're sleeping on a cloud.
So what's
Based
the
on how I have it
benefit
set
of
up.
this? What does it do different from the other ones?
It's just adjustable. You can
So,
set
yeah,
it
it's an
to
adjustable
different,
bed.
different densities, so it's softer. You can set it to read kind of your like body position. So if you're laying on your back, the bed will kind of adjust its firmness, and then if you move over to your side, it'll kind of sense that, I guess, based off air pressure or density readings or something, and then kind of adjust it so that you're not, sleeping with your hip way up in the air. It'll kind of let your hip drop down a little bit.
Yeah, you can
That's
set
cool.
it up that way, and basically you have I have side, so I can adjust for, let's say, if someone's sleeping on the other side, I can do that. And the cool thing is that you never really have to flip it or anything because you just refill it up with air. Then you can readjust it to where you feel comfortable, and it distributes your weight accordingly.
How often do you got to refill the air?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured. I haven't. I
Mike?
think they'll kind of explain that more.
It does it automatically as far as ours does. We don't have to like do like an air compressor or nothing. It has one built in. You can kind of hear it kind of humming sometimes when it's refilling. I think it's automatic unless you got one that's on the cheaper end. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to figure it out once I had it. I think based on mine, I may have to manually do it. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's even that because it was a pretty expensive bed. They just knocked off the 50% during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. So I was able to get what they say is a deal. I don't know. It probably could be saying that and it's the same fucking price, but that's what I'm thinking. But anyways, I liked it anyways. When I buy something, I don't even look so much at that. I'm like, do I like this thing? Am I going to like actually be happy with my purchase versus trying to save a couple bucks and then you end up like regretting it and going back and getting the original thing you wanted. So I'm a big component. I'd rather spend the extra money and make sure that I'm actually happy with my purchase. I was kind of contemplating getting the elevation one that moves the upper body and the feet, but I thought about it. I'm like, I literally don't watch TV in my room like that. I have like a setup in my living room where I have a couch that I purposely bought to feel comfortable being in the living room. I just like being in there. I don't like associating my bed with like I'm going to be, or my room that I'm going to be in there unless I'm working on the desk or I'm going to sleep. Because if I start doing that, I start getting in the habit of turning on the TV and staying up later. You get used to that, right? So if I can say, okay, I'm turning off the TV, I'm going to bed, I usually fall asleep a lot faster versus, fooling around. But that's the only thing I got going on. I have to wait another whole month. I'll give you guys my feedback once I got it. It's like climate control. Like it cools you off if you're warm, vice versa. If you're warm, it cool. How it does that, no idea. But I'm just excited for a new mattress, man. I've been like thinking about this for a couple months. I kind of mentioned to you guys off show a couple times that I was thinking about purchasing that. So here we are. We're in. I'm excited. You guys ready to jump into this?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. So I'm actually excited to talk about this. I mean, ironically enough, I don't know, Mike, where you got this idea from, because I know, Mike, we kind of chat before we record and seeing kind of what we feel would be most beneficial for our listeners, and what kind of content to create. Commitment is a good one. I think that it's one that I've been having to really reflect on. And I think that this is something that people are going to have to start thinking about too, coming into the new year or finishing up this year, right? They're coming into the new year, new me resolutions. There's always going to be a certain demographic of people that buy into this because that's just where they are in their current life. And I think it's important to address a couple things. And I put on the title of the episode, the scary C word, because for some reason, after crustacean, this is something that scares the shit out of people. And literally, physically, whatever. And I think we're deemed as like the generation that lacks commitment. I think that's like kind of a very popular meme that goes around about our generation. Not Gabe's. Gabe's the one like 2 generations prior. But
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Who says this?
Yeah. What are memes? And
What are memes?
So what are memes? So, and no, I think it's a good one to address. And in the context of fitness and your health and fitness, a lot of times you hear a lot of people say they want something or they want a specific outcome or particular results. And this is the way I take it, right? Cody McBroom did a good post that I want to simplify. Like what I was thinking is like what you want to tell to a client, right? It's like raise your commitment or lower your standards. It's one of his recent posts today. And that's a very big slap in the face for a lot of people. Some people may even be triggered by that,
Wow.
And you can literally apply this to all things. Like you literally tell this to a client, like, you're telling, I want to get 10% body fat. I want to have these visible 6-pack abs. I want to be able to do X amount per whatever. But then their actions don't line up with what they're saying they want, right? It's like literally saying you raise your lower your standards or like raise your commitment. I mean, you gotta like live up to that level of what you're trying to get out of. The problem is that I think nowadays is that um when you say you commit to something and anything, it's not pretty. That's the truth of the matter, is that it's not always going to it's not always going to feel good. And I think that we live in a society that we prioritize a lot of our feelings and our emotions over our duties and what we just have, what we say, or what we say we're going to do. And I catch myself in some moments like this where yesterday I was training and I made a little quick video that, dude, I'm depleted right now. Like my carbs overall are much lower than I'm accustomed to. And it's an adjustment period where you can feel your mood change with your food intake. And I'm not nowhere near where I was when I competed, when I was like super depleted and I was just super exhausted all the time. I was slamming like 3-4 monsters a day plus my coffee, like just to keep me going with clients from 5 a.m. to the end of the day, plus my training, plus my cardio. The feeling wasn't there, but the commitment was. And there are periods through your process that, it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies and not everything's going to go according to the plan. But if you made a decision to yourself to do said outcome or to do X thing, I'm sorry, you got to do it regardless of how you're feeling in certain moments, because you're going to be so much more happy and fulfilled and accomplished with yourself once you do it. The reward comes after. And I think that, like I always say, like people sometimes prioritize too much the feeling of the motivation aspect. And we talked a lot about the motivation in prior episodes, but that's where I see it, right? Where people kind of struggle or no one's calling them out on that aspect. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, isn't it funny that you mentioned the feelings, but we know that in the context of health and fitness and bettering your health and fitness, I mean, you feel better. So fine, go ahead, stay with wanting to feel a certain kind of way or feel better. You're going to get there by doing that constantly. So it's just, I guess, if you want to stick with that idea, that thought of a feeling, then fine, but go all in with that and say, I want to feel better. And that's by doing X or Y, either moving more, eating less, or eating better, or changing things up, or whatever the case may be. So that would be that. But yeah, I don't know why. I mean, people are so, what's the big deal about the whole commitment? I mean, like, I guess it's by saying you're going to be doing this for an X amount of time or for a long period of time, and that is uncomfortable, and nobody wants to get boxed in to something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not too sure what's the big fear about it, because I'm whatever. Okay, fine. You're going to tell me I'm going to eat this or move this kind of way or whatever, or okay, that's fine. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, me personally. So
yeah, no, that's just from the generations prior, right? So
yeah, you young folk. I mean, you got no attention span, like a squirrel.
Yeah, so we dumbed it down to a couple second reels, right? 15-second, 30-second reels.
30 seconds. That's a long time.
I know, right?
I was actually this is a complete tangent, but there's this show on Netflix called Explained, and they did an episode on the brain or the mind or whatever they framed it as, and there was a segment on it about how humans' attention spans are now just slightly better than like a goldfish, which goldfish are, famous, maybe not famous, but well known to be very, very low attention span animals because they don't need much attention because they're just fucking goldfish. And yeah, ours is just a step above it because everything's so quick and repetitive and fast. But one of the things, this all ties together, by the way, one of the things that they talk about in that episode is that humans actually get distracted not so much by outside stimulus, but more so by ourselves. We distract ourselves, and it's almost like we want to. And I think that comes a lot into play with somebody that's trying to reach their goal. I mean, they have, if you're somebody that's looking to lose weight and things that you should not be eating, but you get into a situation, maybe a social event, or maybe it's just been a couple of weeks, and then there's nobody there telling you to do these things. You're the one actively making that decision and kind of breaking that commitment to yourself. And it's something that we all naturally do. Some of us are just a little bit better at like staving it off more than others, which is where the concept of like a cheat meal comes into play, or like a cheat day or whatever, because that gives you that little bit of a break from the, you know, the air quotes strict nature of a diet or a meal plan or whatever you're following. But I really, really, oh my God, I'm so glad that you said raise your commitment or lower your standards, because that sums up basically the whole issue. Because you do, like, you get people that are like,
Shout
I
out to
want,
Cody McBroom.
yeah, they want they want their beach ready booty, and they want arms and abs, and they want to look younger and feel better, but they also want to eat chips and salsa every night and have macaroni and cheese from a box at 10 p.m. and then, you know, go to bed and sleep 4 or 5 hours. And it's like, you can't have both of those. Like, one of them is gonna have to go. And more often than not, the macaroni and cheese stays and the beach ready booty goes. And I just think that's such a perfect way of kind of framing it in a very straightforward way for somebody to understand. Like, okay, like, I can't do this and that at the same time. Like, I need to decide, what am I going to do? So I almost like needed to fucking hear that today, because
He's gonna start telling all his clients that today.
Bro, I'm getting that tattooed right here, right across the dome.
That'd actually be worth a shirt, dude. Like, we should like just steal Cody's. He hasn't trademarked that. I don't see any copyright. We'll just put it on a Next Level brand. On the back, it says that. I think it'd be a pretty good idea. And then it's like at Cody McBroom. No, but on the topic of that, man, I think the common thing I also see, man, is that talking about attention spans, we're also sold on everything being fast all around, with how we get to that destination, how we get to those goals, those weight loss goals, or that body that people admire. We know that building muscle takes a lot of time. We know that looking a certain way takes a lot of time. And it's through your patience, through educating yourself on how to eat, making certain lifestyle changes that can take longer, some more for some than others, based on where they're at. And it's not as just simple as like, yeah, I want to do this, because once again, we have to encompass that there are going to be emotional roller coasters. And it's not saying that you're not going to feel anything, but you have to prioritize. What we're saying is that prioritizing how bad you want that desired outcome, and be honest with yourself how bad you really want it, and do what it needs to, whatever it takes to make it happen. I think that we don't, and it's not like we lack commitment on everything. Obviously, there's some things that we obviously know that we cannot barter with that, but it's taking that same principle to the thing that you are most committed to. I think that everyone is committed to something that they value, right? Fitness has always been treated as a commodity, as a luxury, when, you know, it's a necessity to amplify a better quality of life. And this is a fact. You know, if you're just sedentary, you never move, you lose function of everything, and you're just sitting, you know, just on a chair all day and never move, your quality of life by default is going to diminish. You know, and this is going to affect all aspects of your life, whether you like it or not, or whether you want to agree or not. So changing your mindset around fitness and what it actually is one of the first big steps I think someone can do to make sure that they're gonna, you know what to expect, basically, and how to respect it, I guess, and respect themselves when it comes to these things.
You just kind of glossed over this like super easy, but you mentioned values, and I think that ties in directly to what you're committing to. I mean, you know, I've had Spotify on my phone for, I don't know, like 10 years, something like that. It's a bill that has always come out every single month for as long as I can remember. Same thing with Netflix. I've had a Netflix account for basically as long as it's been a streaming service. And that is something that I've always been committed to. Granted, it's a
Mhm.
very small $10 a month commitment, but still, it's there, and it's something that
You're
has
still paying $10? Shit, I wish.
whatever it is, dude. I don't even know, man. I don't even check my accounts.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good
but
life, man.
yeah, it's well, hey, it is, but it just goes to show like how easy it is to commit to something that's so insignificant. $10,
Yeah.
$14, whatever. That's easy. Nobody
Mhm.
bats an eye at it. But when it comes to, paying a significant amount of money for a personal trainer or nutrition coaching or programming or whatever, that's where things start to get all fucking scary. Even though I've easily spent probably $4,000 or $5,000 on Netflix by now, and that's not something I initially, thought of when I signed up for it, but it just kind of
Mhm.
accrues over time, and the amount of value that I get from on a month-to-month basis is yet to be determined. But it comes from where I'm spending my time, where I'm investing my time, basically, and then what I'm getting out of that. And I think that's where a lot of people run into a lot of problems because they're not sure of themselves. They don't have the confidence in the process. They're not sure that it's going to actually work out. No pun intended. And then that's where the whole, self-doubt and versus self-belief kind of comes into play, where maybe they've tried this before and it has never worked. And, spending however much money or however much time trying to do it again just seems so daunting when it's so much easier to just stay complacent. And we're talking about putting you in, uncomfortable positions, either financially or socially or physically, and maybe all three of those in some way. But it does take some level of commitment, probably in all three of those categories, in order to make anything really cool happen physically,
Mhm.
or even just, talking about from a health standpoint.
Yeah. No, I agree totally, Gabe.
It's no, because so you mentioned
Give
that
it,
I
give
wanted
it,
to
give
kind of
it,
like
give it to me
say
straight.
exactly. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. No, you don't people will bet an eye to like the $10 a month or the $15 a month or whatever, because everything is either like 10 or $15 because they say,
Mhm.
oh, it's just that much, so it's
Mhm.
not that bad. And but if it would be like $100, $200 a month, okay, now that's what's going on here. I guess that's similar to here, where people think that it's either a large commitment to either a personal trainer or over a long just so much time in committing to the gym or committing to getting better. But if you just say, well, what's 10 minutes or what's 5 minutes a day or what's, just to go out for a walk or just to make slightly better choices, and your bill comes up to like, let's just say maybe what, $10, $20 more than what it would be had you chose
Mhm.
like, processed food. So if people start thinking of it like that, then it might be an easier pill to swallow by going that route, and it might not be such a drastic change of just going like flipping a switch of saying, okay, I went one way with having chips and salsa every single night and the mac and cheese. Well, let's just do it a different kind of way, and maybe still have the mac and cheese, or maybe still have the chips and salsa, but also include in there like some add some ground beef or something like that, with the chips and salsa, and then have a little bit better. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing shit out there. But it's not such a stark. Don't People shouldn't think like it's just a big difference when they have to commit to something. It's not starting here and leaving your old life behind and never going back and never doing those kind of things. It's okay.
Mhm.
Let's just make little changes, add a little thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. And we've broken this down, but I think will eventually get back to like kind of steps that we recommend people follow that can dramatically improve that. But for the general topic of the commitment thing, what you guys are describing are kind of looking at your return on investments for what you're doing, right? If you think about it, even though Netflix is financially cheap, there is a and you're getting something in return, or there's a price to pay for that entertainment, right? And it's your time. So there are costs that people are not thinking about. There was a good picture that I saw that explained like how all the things that we deem as like small and insignificant, they do zap in other areas. Maybe it's not your wallet, but are other important things, like people maybe on social media or watching the news, mental health, for example, or like, Netflix, it's your time. That cheap food is your health, or whatever the case may be. Like there was like a
And the
list of
cheap food, it
things.
might be the time in the toilet.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's time you could be doing other productive things instead of crapping your brains out. But it's like, but no, I think it's always looking at that return on investment, guys. Like of what are you really getting out of this particular thing, out of this what you deem as daunting or as a luxury, could be one of the most important things you do for yourself, because it can open so many doors that you didn't know that were possible. I know Mike, for damn sure, it changed your whole life, dude. Just taking that initial step. I didn't know this was going to lead us down a couple of years down the road to where you're at, and it just, you just never know. And I'm not saying that everyone's going to have the same exact journey, but I can say for like 99% of the people that do something that improves their health, your life will improve in other facets. So I think it's something super important to commit to at least one aspect of the fitness aspect of just making yourself healthier, regardless if that means you're going to be in the gym all the time or not. That's irrelevant. Is prioritizing your health. We're not talking about the aesthetics. We're talking about just your overall health. And we know that health can look different from person to person, right? Or what is deemed valuable. But being healthier is going to be healthier for you. And that changes your trajectory and where you're going for the better. So I think that, committing to these things, guys, or being very transparent with yourself. Do you really care about what you're saying? That's why I always like to ask clients why, because why do you want that? Be very, very truthful with yourself. Like I told myself, I want to look good for my trip and feel good on the beach. And as people be like, it's so vanity driven. Who cares? It's what I think I perceive as I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it regardless of. Yeah.
What fuck is it to them?
Yeah. So it's like, regardless of like, anything, I do it I made a choice and commitment to myself. I have a person keeping me accountable in that regard. Even my peers at the gym, we crack jokes at each other, but we're always in the sense of like, hey, are you doing the best you can? And you surrounding yourself with people that are actually going to support you versus tear you down. But I made a commitment, even when I'm feeling, they can say like, dude, you're feeling tired today, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, totally. But they still see me doing my 20 minutes of HIIT or whatever thing I'm doing, or my walking or my lifts or my workouts, whenever. Like I'm still, regardless of how I feel, I've made a decision that it doesn't matter, because once I finish that workout, as tired as I am, or as like not the 100% that I feel, because you're a bit uncomfortable, I'm happy with it. I'm fulfilled with it. I'm glad I'm doing it. I don't regret anything, right? So, and that's just going to reteach me certain values that I didn't have for a couple of years, because I haven't really pushed myself really. And I was like, I'm just going to push myself. That's it. Because I know there's value in the mental aspect. I know it's going to make me a better coach. I know it's going to just I'm going to enjoy the trip probably even more so, because I'm a big component. If you look good, you just feel good. You're what you project is like what you're reflecting out there, right? And so I truly think that being honest with yourself, what that's going to actually take, and really ask yourself, do I really want that? And there's nothing wrong actually with lowering your standards of what you once thought that you wanted. I want to clarify that, because people look at that as that's bad. No, you're just being realistic now.
Yep.
And now you can have true success because you're winning. But then that can want you to take that to the next level.
Hey.
And you're but you know what I'm saying? Like, once you start winning, you're going to want to do other things that are going to just allow you to keep doing better in your life. But be real with you, lower those standards, those expectations on top of that, because I have clients that expect themselves to get the results that people have worked their ass off years to achieve, and they think it's from 1 minute to another. I have a client that lost over 50 pounds already, and it happened less than a year. The process was longer. He's been with me longer than that, but to get to that big chunk of weight loss where people literally don't recognize him, that haven't seen him in a long time, they think that it happened overnight, but they don't know all the other back work that he did to get himself ready to do that, to be really committed to the process. It doesn't happen from one day to another. So I think it's just being realistic, transparent, educate yourself on what's going on, and ask yourself, is this really even freaking worth it?
Yep. Just one more thing to piggyback off there. I literally had one of those conversations with my 5 a.m. I see them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Same people that are doing chips and salsa and macaroni and cheese from a box. And it's literally like, just take a second and think about it before you do whatever X decision is, and think like, is this going to help me reach my goal? Does this really matter to me? Is it more important than beach ready booty or whatever? If the answer to that question is yes, this is more important to me than beach ready booty, then just fucking do it. And you just learn something about yourself, and you're going to feel better about that choice rather than just compulsively consuming 2,000 calories of fake cheese and noodles.
Yeah, make the real shit.
Actively, well, that part is a whole separate conversation that I'm having with them as well, of like, if you just make the food like real, like have actual real macaroni and cheese, it won't be nearly as bad for you. But that's a whole separate argument. But you feel more confident in the decision, and you learn something about yourself and your actual real life priorities instead of what you tell yourself your priorities are. And that makes a huge difference mentally. It puts all the power in your hand rather than all the power in the box of macaroni and cheese, because you have no control over that choice. Now you do. You can decide. And then from there, you've learned something about yourself and you feel better about it.
I love it. Gabe, you have anything else to add? I think I covered most of what I wanted to say there. I don't know if you have anything else to add or close us out with.
No, well, just to Mike's point, I think just that taking that second before you make any kind of choice, I think would put you in a better place, regardless of what it is, whether it be food or anything. Just because sometimes we do, to your point, things just unconsciously or just blindly and just, without even really having put too much any thought into it. If we do that, then it would help to curb any of just the mindlessly eating. Don't serve yourself. Don't just take the whole bag of chips. Maybe pour yourself a bowl, and you're like, "Wow, I'm getting up again. How many bowls is this? This is my third bowl.
God damn.
Maybe I should stop." So just
You gotta chill.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just think that was a good point that should be highlighted.
Yeah, and I think if anyone's struggling with this, or they haven't had these genuine talks with themselves, or they want to vent or like get our feedback on maybe some ideas that you have or some goals that you have in mind, go ahead and feel free to reach out to us. We have our Instagram handles on the screen, and we'll also have them in the show notes. And
Anytime we can just do it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. If you're watching this, if you catch this after, obviously the channel's super small. We haven't even told anybody that we're doing this. We're just seeing if this thing even freaking works. Sorry for the video quality once again. As long as the audio sounds great for you guys, that's what I care about. But yeah, man, educating yourself, being transparent, lowering your standards if you feel that you've overshot, be honest, it's okay. Build on that. Get into the habit of just winning small wins over time, because that's going to lead you down to get you closer to that goal. And yeah, man, have those really uncomfortable talks, and hopefully if you're working with a trainer, they're also doing the same thing with you and calling you out on your bullshit, like in the right way, making sure that they're actually delivering the services that you need. Because honestly, I ask clients why, and they're just staring at me like they're puzzled, because it's like no one's asked them why they want that, or why is that even important. And it makes the person really reflect, and it changes their attitude as well when they go about it, right? So they stop being mad about stupid shit that literally we ask them, why does that upset you? And then when they really think about it and they say it out loud, like, wow, that sounds really silly. Like, I'm being really like harsh on myself for no damn reason whatsoever. I got to chill out and take this a more realistic and rational approach. And then we start actually making the adjustments needed, and voila, the results are starting to kind of happen on their own. Holy crap. That's all I needed to do. And those are the things you want to have a team of support that's actually going to help you, be honest with you. But it starts with yourself first. So definitely reflect on what you want to accomplish this upcoming year or before the year's up. Start, jotting these things down, and not only what you want, but how do you plan on getting there? There should be some type of plan, and we'll get into kind of goal orienting yourself for this upcoming year. I think that'll be a good episode to talk about goals, objective goals, and then kind of those things that kind of add to those goals, actual tangible steps. I think will be a great episode. and that will just kind of give you guys more chances to increase your success in this health and fitness. Because, like I said, I don't care who you are, what age you are, what walk of life you are. If you are healthier than you are today, your life will be better, flat out. So
Word.
I'm pretty much good. You guys have anything else to add? Any closing thoughts? Wrap
Mike,
it
you
up.
got some?
How does the nude artist get paid?
I don't know. John, how do you get paid?
Exposure.
That's what I was gonna tell you, Gabe. Just expose yourself. Let it out. Just let it out.
Not here.
You know, so we're in the holiday times, right? So giving, a lot of people are up on giving. So I actually donated $100 to Organization for Blind Kids. It's kind of sad that none of the kids are going to get to see a penny of it.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
People don't believe me when I say that Gabe's the darkest one out of all three of us. I can,
And not just pigment.
Yeah, and it's yeah, that's literal with your Guatemalan self. I just haven't been able to kind of get the good sun, Gabe. So if not, I'll catch up to you. I'll be kind of close. We're
Yeah,
like
it's right
brothers.
there. What do you mean?
We're brothers, right? Dude, literally.
I know.
You know, I've been
Same
actually
exact
pretty
way.
good. I've been actually pretty good about keeping my clothes on. Literally, I usually take my shirt off every time I'm outside because it
Well,
was so
why?
hot.
Well,
But
now it's been a little
it's
cooler.
cool.
So.
It's a little cool, but
But it's
it's
nice,
honestly
though.
feels great. I'm planning on actually this upcoming month is adding jogging in the community and go around the whole thing. So
That'd be cool.
see how, like, you know, just being in a safe environment, I feel like I'm gonna get run over by cars and
Yep.
shit. That's a good
Jogging.
feeling.
Silent
Jogging?
J. Silent J.
I said jogging. Okay.
Hey, I
Well,
forgot. You don't like Will Ferrell. It's Anchorman.
Nah, yeah, no. Anyways, listeners, I appreciate you guys checking out this episode. We'll have this on the audio as well. So even though we are doing the live streams, the audio platforms will remain the same: Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and all the other ones that we have. I gotta make a banner for that too. Just be like plug.
I mean, banners everywhere.
Just banners everywhere, just like all coming out, and then make Mike. I'm gonna make a personalized duck for. Just follow him wherever he goes on the screen, and just even if he's on the bottom, just put the duck next to him at all
Track
times.
it to his face.
With that being said, listeners, thanks for the support. Leave us a comment. Leave us comments. Leave us a thumbs up on the YouTube video. If you're listening to audio, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Those always help us just do trend better. Share this episode with someone that needs to maybe lower their standards a bit or raise their commitment. Right? I love that. I think that was like a haha moment for a lot of people. So, with that being said, until the next one.